As those rain chances continue to decrease as we head closer to the weekend, we're on your side with how warm we're expecting it to get and if you should keep that umbrella on standby.
And with the 4th of July on the horizon, we bring you the weather extra on the hottest 4th of Julys on record and tell you what you can expect as you head out of town to celebrate.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts with breaking news.
Well, we start with that breaking news we've been covering in Shelby County. A Calera police officer and a state trooper injured in a chase. We're told a Pelham detective tried to make contact with the driver and that suspect took off, crashing into a state trooper. The investigation backing up I-65 for miles, as you see here.
Calera's police chief telling us a trooper was injured along with a Calera police officer who was stabbed and bitten by the suspect. We'll continue to update you here on air and on the WBRC News app.
But first, check out these images sent to us by Kevin Kraus. No, that's not a tornado in the first picture. It's a scud cloud, which was followed by a lovely rainbow. These were taken at the Braves game at Truist Park in Atlanta.
Yeah, social media was all stir in that area saying tornado, tornado, tornado.
Right.
All the meteorologists were like, no, it's not a tornado. So.
Yeah, it can be very deceiving. Scud clouds, Matt, they can certainly throw you off if you're not paying close attention.
Yeah, but no rotation. You got to look for that rotation, and there was none. So.
Yeah, it was just a well-behaved scud cloud trying to mind its own business, trying to watch the Braves game, right?
I guess so.
Not that I would blame them.
Not true. All right, well, let's talk about the next big thing. We're drying out. I haven't said that in forever.
I know, me either.
We probably need to look in the stats book and just see if there's been like 1 week.
Recently.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't been in May and it hasn't been in June. But the big thing we're tracking with the dry weather is, of course, the temperatures. They're going to be cranking up. We're going to see more sunshine, less clouds, less rain. And temperatures can be close to maybe a few degrees above average as we go into the 4th of July and into the weekend. Normally in early July, we'll see those high temperatures right around 90 degrees. Remained up about 3, perhaps 4 degrees above average going to the next several days. It's been a really beautiful day. We've had blue sky and sunshine. We're at 86 degrees here in Jasper. And most of us still holding on to those upper 80s, still holding on to 90 degrees in Talladega and Tuscaloosa. But one thing we like to look at is the dew points, measure the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. And yesterday we were in the mid to upper 70s. That is just absolutely gross. But notice those numbers are dropping into the upper 60s. Still humid, but could be a lot worse. So we'll take that. And notice when you factor in the humidity and those temperatures, it may just feel just a few degrees warmer than the actual air temperature. So we've been tracking a few showers well off to the south. We are dry. We should remain dry as we go into the rest of this evening. Just some isolated showers in around Montgomery. And as we go into tomorrow or over the next 24 hours, we'll stay pretty dry. Lauren was just talking about that. And notice that this evening at 7 o'clock looking pretty good with the partly cloudy sky. We'll start to see those temperatures cool into the upper 60s to near 70 waking up tomorrow. Some of the models are hitting at some upper level clouds moving in, so we'll see some filtered sunshine at times. We're still going to hold on to just a 10% chance of a stray shower. You can see a little green dot here or there. Would not hold on to an umbrella all day. That's just not necessary. But just monitor the First Alert Weather app. I think we'll stay dry with a partly cloudy sky, highs in the upper 80s, and then we'll be warming up into the 90s eventually as we go into the 4th of July. So best advice for you. If you got outdoor plans, be mindful of that UV index. It's been cloudy and rainy, so you probably haven't really thought about applying the sunscreen as much. But notice as we go into tomorrow, some of those clouds may help a little bit, but you're still going to be able to get sunburn within 15 to 20 minutes. So apply. But notice Friday and then going into Saturday, the scale's 1 to 11. We're looking at 11, and we're talking about from 2 to about 3 p.m. That's when we're going to see that high, extreme UV index. So make sure you apply the sunscreen if you got those outdoor plans, either at the pool, at the lake, or just outside in the backyard, grilling, getting ready for the 4th of July. So that's a look at your forecast. We've been talking about the heat and the humidity for a while, but it looks like we're just going to be talking about lack of rain chances, Lauren.
Yeah, finally drying out, Matt, and drying out as we get closer to the 4th of July. So maybe you need to get some yard work done tomorrow before you have friends or family coming over to grill out for the 4th. If you need to mow the lawn, because goodness knows it's been raining a lot, that grass is probably just growing pretty high. It's going to be hot tomorrow. Temperatures will be getting into the upper 80s, low 90s during the heat of the day. Of course, we've got some slightly drier air moving in, so it's not going to be as muggy. We are looking at a partly cloudy sky, but even with a few clouds around, as Matt was saying, you got to make sure you're wearing your sunscreen with that steamy sunshine in the forecast. So as we look ahead here, one thing, of course, that we know with wet patterns in place, the mosquitoes can quite frankly begin to run a little buck wild. So in the wake of the rainy pattern that we've seen, we're still going to keep that skeeter meter high in the days ahead. May go down a touch for Friday and Saturday, but if you know you are more prone to bug bites, go ahead and spray on that bug spray on top of the sunscreen too, and protect yourself in the great outdoors. Well, for those of you trying to prep for the 4th of July, meteorologist Megan Thomas and Mickey Ferguson join us now with what those conditions could look like, not just here at home, but of course at the beach.
We are counting down to the 4th of July.
Yay! And it's on a Friday this year, which means for us, you know, when it's during the week, the fireworks wake me up. It's hard to get up the next day. But this is on a Friday. I wish this could happen every year.
I get FOMO, so I usually stay up, and then I'm just tired the next day, but because it's a Friday, I'm going to stay up, and we're going to have a good time. Thunder on the Mountain, I think it's going to be fine on Friday night. I don't think anything's really going to be happening. I think we'll be in the 70s by the time the fireworks begin. And then Saturday, Sunday, if people are getting out on the lake, spending time with family, I mean, low 90s.
We don't have to worry about storms.
I'll take it.
Just worry about boaters, because there's probably going to be a lot of them.
A lot of them. And you know what? The climatologist in me loves data, and I did some digging for us. So the hottest 4th of July, Birmingham, 102, which is interesting because in the month of July that we covered yesterday on Weather Extra, we've seen 107 degrees before in Birmingham. So the hottest
actual temperature.
Actual,
not the feels like
correct. Actual air temperature got to 102 in 1921.
We'll have to ask Mike Dubberly what that was like.
Yeah, if he remembers that. I think he was born then.
Yeah, it probably was.
Tuscaloosa saw 100 back in 2012. And then in Anniston, 1969, when we went to the moon, we got 100 degrees in Calhoun County.
How about that? Hey, let's check the beaches. If you're heading on down to the Gulf, well, we only have a 10% chance of rain going into Friday, and the rain chances have diminished for Saturday. We were looking like at a 40% chance. Now it's 20% chance there. And about the time you're ready to head back home, 40% chance of rain. So.
The best time for it to rain at the beach is when you're on the car on the way away from the beach.
Back home.
Yes, so it's going to be pretty good.
So here's a look at some of the model data associated with what's going on in the Gulf. It's just some scattered stuff, and a lot of times that sea breeze will blow that inland anyway for about a mile. So based on that forecast, I'd head on down. We have yellow flags expected. They'll let you know there on the beaches if anything changes. If you had a rogue storm, they could up that to a red flag, but looks pretty good. They usually keep a yellow flag anyway for down at the beaches, so looks pretty good. And the Gulf water temperature anywhere from 83 to 87 degrees, so it should be just right.
So if they are going for maybe a week, maybe they're leaving Thursday to Thursday. I know a lot of people go Sunday to Sunday, but I mean, I think next week a little unsettled, but not bad.
Yeah, I'd still go based on that forecast.
Listen, it could rain all day at the beach, and I'd still go.
But even if you stay here at home, things are looking pretty good for the next several days.
Looking good.
All right, appreciate that, Megan and Mickey. Well, though things are quiet here, it's a different story out west. Severe storms on Tuesday brought near hurricane force winds and down trees and power lines. Now, those strong winds sparking a dust storm across Las Vegas. Dust and winds blew more than 60 miles per hour throughout the storm, and the area was under a dust storm warning from the National Weather Service yesterday afternoon. And a stormy setup taking place across parts of Maryland as well. It started yesterday afternoon as thunderstorms brought strong wind gusts and flash flooding. You can see the video, cars driving through the flooded streets, and more than 2,000 people were without power as of this morning as crews worked to fix down power lines.
And as government cuts continue, a main source to receive climate change information is now offline. Globalchange.gov went offline Monday afternoon with the site showing an error message if accessed. The website was home to the government's 5 published reports on how greenhouse gas emissions affect climate and human health, agriculture, and other aspects of the U.S. economy. Since 1990, the Global Change Research Act has mandated a national climate assessment be provided to federal agencies every 4 years. And in 30 seconds, we head to the tropics where we give you the latest updates on the potential disturbance being tracked near the southeast and talk about how you can prepare your pets for safety during this hurricane season. We'll be right back. Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan here. Things are much quieter here in central Alabama now that a front has moved through and the rain has moved out, setting us up for some dry weather in the days ahead. We did want to show you where we're just tracking a couple little puny showers to our south. Most of these now have moved south of Montgomery. We've got one little shower that is moving closer to Greenville. A first alert if you've got to travel along I-65 areas to the south. Hopefully going to be seeing improvements in that traffic situation on I-65, but you can see around Macedonia and Clover Hill to our south a couple of showers that are bringing some heavy downpours. None of this right now has any lightning on it though. Just to the south of Montgomery near Tyson and to the south of Hunting Downs, some showers pushing to the south near David's Crossroads. And then we also have another little shower near Curry approaching Friendship. All of this to the south of Montgomery right now. So when we look at rain chances in the days ahead, they're probably going to look as puny as these showers do. Just little isolated pop-ups, maybe a little pop-up storm in the mix, but overall the weather looking much quieter for us in the days ahead. Matt?
All right, so you're saying if I wash my car, Lauren, and it'll probably rain, and that's probably
absolutely.
it. So.
For sure.
Let's talk about the tropics. You know, we're starting out in July, and usually the month of July can be fairly quiet. It really ramps up the hurricane season as we go into late August into September. So as you can see, it's just started, and we got a long ways to go. Beautiful view from Gulf Shores. We were talking about that beach forecast earlier. It's 86 degrees there, pretty breezy. What we're watching is that cold front that's been moving through. That system's going to stall along the Gulf Coast and across the Florida Peninsula, and sometimes during this time of the year, an area of low pressure could try to form. The National Hurricane Center is watching it. Some of the models that we look at are also hinting at it. And you see that in orange. That's a medium chance for tropical development over the next 7 days, maybe in the far eastern Gulf, Florida Peninsula, and off the coast of the southeast. So something to watch. It looks like wet weather's pretty likely for parts of the Florida Peninsula, maybe for coastal Georgia. So this future model showing that front kind of stalling, washing out, and maybe an area of low pressure trying to form. You see those showers mainly impacting Florida and along the South Carolina, Georgia coastline. But for us, we're going to be on the dry side of whatever develops, so I'm not anticipating many issues for us. When it comes to tropical development in July, usually the Gulf and the East Coast is very common. So where this might try to form, pretty typical for the month of July. And of course, we'll keep you updated on that forecast here and of course through the WBRC First Alert weather app. Lauren?
Well, Matt, as we inch closer toward the peak of hurricane season, it's also a good time to not only prep your human family and your home, but your furry friends as well. I had the chance to speak with Sharon Hawa, Senior Manager of Emergency Services for Best Friends Animal Society, on the best ways you can keep your pet safe in the months ahead. So Sharon, we have hurricane season coming up, and it's really important for us as we're looking ahead in time to potentially getting towards that more active part of the season to set our pets up for success. We always talk about preparing ourselves as humans, but what can we do to better help our pets in the months ahead?
Yeah, hurricane season is the perfect time to get started. Pets are a part of our family, so they rely on us to keep them safe. And some of the things that we can do to get that going is start to think about, if you ever have to evacuate, where are you going to go with your pets? So thinking about maybe a friend or a family member that lives nearby that may not be in an evacuation zone that could potentially house you and your pets for a period of time. There are also some pet-friendly housing options, like lodging options that you can look at that you can find easily online. So thinking about things like that ahead of time are going to put you in a better position if you ever have to evacuate.
I'm sure you all have seen this with working with Best Friends Animal Society. We see a lot as meteorologists that sometimes people, the reason they give for not evacuating is because they don't want to leave their pets behind. It's almost like they'd rather face the storm with their pets than putting themselves out of harm's way and leaving their pets behind.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of emergency management agencies are doing a better job of keeping, putting together pet-friendly shelters, animal shelters in their counties. So at the time of an evacuation, you may not know that there are some out there, but you definitely want to check and see where there are some pet-friendly accommodations at some temporary shelters that may be set up in your area. But just in the event that there isn't, just being as proactive as possible and making a list of some lodging options or family or friends nearby, I think is the better option, especially for your pets, as it's going to be a much quieter location for them than a very busy temporary animal shelter.